it's Leela, the proud poly kinky queer slut. Today I want to talk about relationship fairness. So this idea of fairness in relationships. Um, this is one that my learning about this has like been so huge for my marriage and for my relationships, because I think I had the wrong approach for a long time. That was a big part of not understanding why I wasn't really happy in the situations that I had set up in my life. And like I'm talking about like when I was in my late 20s and 30s. So um, fair that we get this idea in our head sometimes, and partially it's how we're taught, like things like, if you're going to school, or if you're bringing a treat to school, bring one for every kid. If you're having a party, invite everybody. These are not bad lessons, but is a thing that we are taught by our culture that's, again, not bad, but can be challenging in relationship conversations. And that is that fairness means equality. So it means giving everybody exactly the same thing. And that equity is kind of the counterpoint to that. And equity is like giving people what they need to take for their circumstance. So if we take an equality stance when it comes to division of household labor, and when it comes to fairness in relationships, then you quickly get to some math that's like, you're doing more chores than I am, therefore it's not fair. I need to do more chores. I'm not doing good enough because I'm not doing more of the chores. Or I'm making more money and prioritizing my career more than you are and working harder at my career. Therefore, that's not fair because you're not picking up your side of that bargain. And that can build resentment. That can build frustration, especially since, I don't know about you, but my life, that was happening at the same time, where it's like, okay, I'm stressed out. I'm doing lots and lots of hard work here. And I am at the same time not keeping up with my household responsibilities, and my partner's having to do all of that. So I'm like stressed out because I'm not feeling good enough because I'm not doing the dishes enough. And also feeling like resentful because I'm having to do all this work to be the breadwinner. And my partner's like, yeah, I want the job that'll let me just get by. That was hard. And it created relationship tension. It created a lot of relationship tension. So one thing that we came to, before having words for it, really, prior to poly, but it's important in poly, is that it's not about actually measuring quantities. It's not about equality. It's not about everybody bringing the same. It's about what feels fair, what feels good, what each person needs. The equity. So making sure each person has what they want and what they need in the relationship. So in my particular work-life balance, I have childhood trauma around poverty, and some of those household chores are a much bigger emotional lift for me than they are for my partner. My partner loves caretaking and like makes food as love. So my partner picks up things like doing the dishes and like making most of the food, and their values have always been aligned with like having a job that is a job that you like, but like not really caring about climbing the ladder at all, or about like how much money they make at all, just as long as they make enough to get by. And that has meant that they've got a very steady job where they don't work overtime. They can be much more that rock in our, they don't travel for work. They don't work overtime. Whereas for me, that security really mattered. That financial security really mattered. So I dedicated a lot of my young adult life to building that security. And so when having that conversation and getting down to how does this make you feel? Like, how does it make you feel? So my spouse is like, does it make you feel bad that you make more money? I'm like, no, I don't mind at all that I make more money. I just can't do that work and keep up with everything else. And my spouse was like, why are you trying to? You don't need to. It felt so good. It felt so good. And it still does. I do about a quarter the housework as my spouse. Sorry, I get choked up about this because I am so in love with the way that my spouse takes care of me. I do about a quarter of the housework that my spouse does, and I make twice as much money. And then I do a lot of the emotional labor. And recognizing emotional labor, oh my God, that also, like, in this equation, totally discounting all the labor that I was doing up to emotionally support the children, to emotionally support myself, our relationship, to schedule all the things, like managing, like that intellectual labor of just managing the family budget and schedule. That's a big task. So like, and I was not factoring that in to my I'm not doing the dishes enough kind of math. So putting that all together and recognizing that, like, the question isn't, is it fair? The question is, are we all getting what we need to flourish and succeed in our own ways and in our own lives? That's the question. And so that's really the foundation we kind of base things on for our family and for raising our kids, since having that kind of aha when the kids were little. And moving in poly, it's really been good to extrapolate that as well, because, I date a lot more than my spouse. I mean, they're basically monogamous. Like, so it's not a matter of like, yeah, we have fairness in our partners and our ability to find partners. It's about like, what do you want and what's making you feel good? And is our home life providing that stable support? And is our relationship providing that stable support that allows us to both do those things? And for our kids too, like, is our home life and is our distribution of labor, is our, the equity of chores and things like that, is that supporting everybody being able to do what they want and achieve what they want and gain the skills that they need to have the lives that they want? That's, I think, a different way that we approach things than some others might. So yeah, hope this is helpful. Thinking about the concept of fairness more in terms of equity, and does everybody have what they want, and how does it feel versus actual equality of distribution. It's been an important detail in my life, and as you can see, it also it lifts the weight off my shoulders and makes me feel so loved to realize that, like, I don't always have to be trying to do more. And I think a lot of people who, especially people who've been enculturated as women in the 20th century, have a lot of that baggage, and being able to, like, take that up and kind of set it down. It's just so much love. It's so much love. So anyway, thank you very much for listening. This is Leela, the proud poly kinky queer slut. You can email me your questions at kinkyqueerslut@gmail.com. And thank you very much. Have a great day. Proud Poly Kinky Queer Slut is art. It is made for entertainment purposes only. I am not a subject matter expert on any of the topics discussed. Please do not rely on anything presented here as fact. Think for yourself, do your own research, make your own decisions. To submit a question, please email kinkyqueerslut@gmail.com.